Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to cilinixfxcapital. Hope you're all doing great. Hope you're having a great week so far, and welcome to this new video right here on Ethereum. We're going to do a full update. There's some news I wanted to touch upon again regarding Ethereum. Obviously, I've spoken about stable coins and the rise of stable coins and why that's bullish for Ethereum. And we got some new updates about that, which I'll just get right into it. I mean, yesterday evening, what we heard is that the Senate has enough votes to pass the stablecoin bill. So that's good news for Ethereum. Now, honestly, I mean, usually when you have news like that, first of all, you have the headline and then you have the market reaction. I would say the market reaction from Ethereum since then hasn't been that great. So maybe it's already priced in, right? There is a possibility. But Ethereum has been holding on steady, right? And what I said in the video yesterday morning, before that, we already expected the pullback, of course, if you watch my video on Monday. So far, I would say we've been, this week, we've been very accurate, because what I said yesterday, even though we had some turmoil in the middle, is that we would most likely stay relatively stable around 2,540. And right now we're trading at 2,525. Around that POC, around that point of control, right? So you have these different point of control areas right here. Let's say between 2,520 and 2,540, that basically means, and that's also what you can see here on the chart here to the left, that most of the liquidity is there, right? So price tends to navigate or gravitate, that's the better word, towards that area. So that's where we remain relatively stable. Now, like I said, yesterday we had some fundamental pressure. There was a little bit more escalation, a little bit more fear about the Middle East and a potential, the United States potentially joining that. So that caused a spike, but ultimately the reaction from Ethereum was pretty good. We just held the value area low right here. We tested those equal lows we made Friday the 15th of June, I think. No, the 13th, my apologies. Tested that, very strong reaction. So the buyer's conviction was tested and the test was successful, I'd say. But right now, look, it was a good reaction, but we are still stable. And ultimately, I think we will remain stable. There's no real volume at this point of time. There was volume at the bottom, so that's great as well. But I think the continuation of Ethereum right now in terms of, can we actually break out, or are we going to drop down a little bit deeper into the range support right here at 2,400, or are we going to get up to the top of the range right here at 2,600? Honestly, and I know this is going to be very, very boring, and my apologies in advance for that, but honestly, it depends a lot on the fundamentals, right? So we have the tension in the Middle East. If that continues to escalate, we'll most likely revisit 2,400. I don't think that's fully priced in yet. So therefore, I do expect a market reaction. And then the FOMC tonight and what's being said there can also make the markets move. And with that, I have a little bit more of a positive, more of a bullish bias. But I'll explain that a little bit later in my middle of the day market update as well. I don't want to make this video too long. Oh, well, we actually have some time. But I'll be live streaming that event. So I'll be live a little bit before the press conference, which is most important because the interest rates will stay the same, as like a 99.8% probability. Which is almost certainty. So I'll be live streaming that, and that will talk a little bit more also about why my expectations are quite positive. But it's dependent on that, right? So I would say, I have a slight bullish bias on Ethereum right now because we are trading below the POC. So there's a little bit more room to the upside than to the downside. So that means that there's somewhat of outsized returns to the upside. Also with some imbalances still higher towards 2,750. But for today, going back to the prediction, I expect stability. And then a continuation, like I said, I have a slight bullish bias because of the FOMC, either to the upside or the downside. But let's say for this prediction's sake, because I know some of you want me to say, oh, we're going up or down. Let's say we're going up, right? But honestly, should you trade these circumstances? No. So that's it. That's what I think you need to know. If you do have any questions, let me know down in the comments. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.